What is going on, guys? I am the FT Guru, bringing to you guys a Wednesday NBA edition of my DFS podcast. We have 10 games on tonight's main slate. There's also a game at 6 p.m. Eastern, not part of the main slate, the Wizards and 76ers. So 11 games total today, 10 of them on the main slate. We have a pretty fun-looking main slate for tonight. A lot of great games, a lot of high totals, and some nice valuable spots to look at. Obviously, there's still some questionable guys as I do this in the early afternoon, but there's already some spots to take advantage of. Like this video, make sure you're subscribed. I do appreciate you for stopping by. Let's dive right into tonight's slate. But before we do, my lineups yesterday ended up having a great comeback win. We had Kyrie Irving in all lineups 100%, and he absolutely, shit the bed. I think he had 4 total points on like 2 of 12 shooting, 0 of 6 from 3. It was abysmal. But luckily enough for us, he was almost, he was like 90% owning cash games. So it ended up not really hurting us. We had a bunch of Sun stacks. They pulled through in that late game last night. Cam Johnson put up like 45. Chris Paul put up like 50, and then Biyombo also got there for us at low ownership. So a huge clutch late game for us. We scored like 320 to 330 on all FanDuel lineups. Let's do it again tonight. Let's cash in there, and let's continue to ride out this week. So for point guard tonight, we have no De'Aaron Fox. So Davion Mitchell's looking like he's going to slide into this starting lineup. And he can be really, really good. As we saw last year as a rookie, he was explosive, had some huge games. Expected to have another solid year here in his second year. Without De'Aaron Fox, we saw him go down last game fairly early. And, Davion Mitchell was the main guy after that. 31 minutes, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, 32 fantasy points. At 4,900, he only needs just under 25 fantasy points to hit value. And when he starts and sees over 30 minutes and gets that De'Aaron Fox usage, we can see him, get 40 plus fantasy points. He's in the, category for possible 10x value tonight. And by 10x value, I mean 10 times the salary. So it would be 49 fantasy points. For normal value for a guy, if you're new to this, 5x is the value number. So 4.9 times 5, what is that, 24 and a half? So just under 25 fantasy points for Davion Mitchell hits value. He's a fantastic play in all formats tonight. Shooting guard kind of depends here with DeMar DeRozan. Zach LaVine, they were saying yesterday he was going to be ruled out on the back-to-back with his, knee. But now he's questionable today. I'm still expecting him to be out. That would make DeMar DeRozan an elite play at under 8K. The Charlotte Hornets, not a good defense. They play fast. This would be an absolute smash spot for DeRozan. We can keep an eye out on LaVine. But, they do have an 8 o'clock Eastern. It's a 7:30 lock tonight. And, that news with LaVine should come out fairly early. I do think he's going to be out. If LaVine ends up playing, I'm probably going to spend up $1,100 more and get Paul George against the Rockets, where he just cooked them for 70 fantasy points. Even if you do play DeRozan, Paul George should be on your radar. He's not as much of a cash play tonight because he was 8,100 last game against the Rockets, so everyone had him, and he smashed for almost 80 fantasy points. Almost got 10x his value at an $8,100 salary. That would have been absurd. He's still in play tonight at 9,000. Kawhi Leonard is still going to be out. They do have John Wall back, but that shouldn't cut into much usage for Paul George. He looked as good as ever last game. Definitely worth taking a look at and putting him on your radar for tonight. Small forwards, look at the rookie Jeremy Sochin. Not sure how to say it. Keldon Johnson is out for the Spurs tonight, and he is by far their number one offensive weapon. He has the most usage. There should be a ton of usage to go around to these Spurs. Josh Richardson's coming back tonight. He's kind of in the same play, same category as Sochan is, but Sochan is $700 more, less than Josh Richardson. So I like this play more. He should be starting, should see extra usage with no Keldon Johnson. And he only needs 23 fantasy points tonight. He should see, 25 to 30 minutes. You could also look at Doug McDermott at 4,100. We picked him last game and he cooked. He hit like 6 threes. But either way, it's a good idea to get some Spurs exposure tonight with no Keldon Johnson. They're at home against the Raptors. They're like 7-point underdogs. I don't expect this to be a blowout. So there's some nice value to go around in San Antonio. There's just always that risk of being on the wrong side of a Greg Popovich, like rotations night. So there's always that risk with him being the coach, but there's some definite value here with the Spurs. For power forward, Julius Randle is going to be popular tonight, I think, in my opinion. 7,400 is too cheap. This Hawks and Knicks game has the highest over-under on the slate. Last time I looked at it, it was at 233. This is a smash spot for Julius Randle. Both teams play fast. He needs 37 fantasy points to hit value. He's averaging that on the year. And we all know what Randle is capable of doing. He has 50 to 60 point upside. In a matchup like this, he could absolutely go off. He's got a pretty high floor. He should get you well over 30 fantasy points. And then, like I was just saying, his ceiling is really good. So he's a fantastic play in cash games. He's a good play in GBPs as well. But I expect him to have some decent ownership tonight in this spot. You can also play him at center. And then for center, let's look at Isaiah Stewart. A lot of the projections like Şengün on the Rockets, he's just kind of iffy with his playing time. Sometimes he doesn't start and then he comes off the bench. He can play like 23 minutes or he can play like 28 minutes. I like saving a little bit of money and playing Isaiah Stewart just because he's a little more solidified on the Pistons and you kind of know what he's going to do for you and you know what kind of minutes he's going to get. He's going to start. He just played the Bucks, played 29 minutes, had a slow start but then kind of came alive in the fourth quarter. Ended up hitting value at 5,800. You need 28 fantasy points to hit value. He did that. He's done that in his last 3 games. He can get in the mid-30s like he's shown this year so far. And, you're going to get 28 to 32 minutes out of the guy. So he's a little safer than Şengün. And Şengün, I think, is 6,100 or 6,200, so you're saving money. I like Stewart more. They're going to need him to be in the paint and play well again against this Bucks team. A nice, solid play at under 6K. Can also play power forward as well. That'll sum up today's video, guys. As usual, pay attention closer to lock. Things, tend to open up with injury news and usages and all of that. So, like this video, make sure you're subscribed. Let's crush it tonight again. Until next time, I am the FD Guru, and I am signing off. Peace.